What drugs are necessary to be competitive during a contest prep? That would be a man. I wish Phil would have showed up, but I can answer that. No drug is necessary. I mean, there are shows that are drug free. Um, the thing is that each drug in a contest prep has a job that it's trying to accomplish. What you want ideally is, I mean, you're going to have a testosterone base. You shouldn't run any cycle without a physiological level of testosterone in your body present, right? You got to have some estrogen conversion. You got to maintain your bodily functions. So, numero uno, testosterone. Numero dos,
God, dude, I can't. This shirt is
well,
fuck.
ideally, if you're going to compete against other enhanced competitors, you want to play on the same playing field, right? You're not going to come into a contest and handicap yourself because of some moral high ground. The reason you cut back on things or don't do certain things is just because you want to manage your risk, right? Because there's always a risk to reward ratio. I wish Gage could get involved in this conversation, but he is natty duty, not enhanced duty. I'm Mr. Enhanced Duty.
That's you are Mr. Enhanced Duty.
So what I was saying, the only reason you would not do certain things is risk management, finances. I mean, hell, we'd all be on tons of pharmaceutical grade human growth hormone if we could all afford it, but that's not always an option. But what you want next is going to be some kind of androgen. You want to choose an androgen because androgens are your male hormone. Androgens are what makes you more manly. Androgens in the context of a contest prep is going to be a hardening agent. It's going to make your muscle appear more dense, make you look more vascular when you're lean, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the one go-to is going to be Masteron. So testosterone base, Masteron. When you get low enough on your calories and you're getting really lean, I would say that the next thing you're going to want is like a nutrient partitioning agent, something that is very carb sparing, and will help facilitate a lot of nutrient uptake. And that one is called Trenbolone. Now, notice I put Masteron first because I want Masteron to perform the primary function of being that androgen. Trenbolone is extremely androgenic, but it also comes with a lot of problems, a lot of liver toxicity, a lot of kidney toxicity, a lot of heart toxicity, a lot of neurotoxicity. So if you want to get androgenic effects, choose the androgens that don't do the shit that Tren does, which is any one of them. Okay, Tren should be used very cautiously. Everybody talks about it being the nectar of the gods and all this and this and that, but truth is, if you use it for what it's for, you don't need a lot of it. You want it as a nutrient partitioning agent. It does give a different look than other androgens do, but yeah, that's its primary function. It's going to be is nutrient partitioning, preservation of muscle tissue. You want to use a drug like that pre-training on your training days and as early in the day as possible on non-training days. But so, I mean, with simple that, like that is the contest prep oil cycle right there. Test, mast, and Tren. I mean, almost every freaking competitor on stage is going to have those three things in his cycle, and it's going to be for those reasons I gave. Your honorable mentions are going to be your orals. The reason you're going to use orals is some of them have certain special properties, like Winstrol is really good for your training performance, like maintaining intensity in the gym. It creates a new level of hardness that Masteron can't, so you can use that alongside. Anavar is something you would employ that increases nitrogen retention, fullness of the muscle, roundness of the muscle, while being in that carbohydrate depleted state, because obviously when your calories are going to get low, you're going to have to pull carbs at a certain point. You don't want to pull protein. You want protein to be high for satiation, for mineral density, for nitrogen retention. So something's got to give, and you've usually already pulled your fats, and you're going to have to pull your carbs down. So Anabora can help maintain that round, full look. Let's see. A different oral would be halotestin. Halotestin is like tren on tren. It is extremely potent, extremely powerful, very badass drug, very toxic, used very short durations. But the look that it gives when you are really shredded is absolutely disgusting. And if you saw by one of my last chest training videos, I was using halotestin. Yeah, so those orals can be used for those reasons. You know, you could put them in. Are they necessary? No. But I would say that the 3 oils that I mentioned before, the orals aren't necessary, but the 3 oils I put in before, I would say that those are necessary to be competitive in a enhanced bodybuilding competition for the reasons I listed, because you need something that's androgenic, that's going to cover that estrogen conversion by ratio balance, right? Higher androgenic to estrogen ratio, less estrogenic effects appear present. You're going to look drier. You're going to be harder. You're going to have more vascularity. You want a nutrient partitioning agent because your calories are going to be low. So that's test trend mast. All right, enough about drugs. Everybody wants to talk about fucking drugs. Our GA, I was mostly wondering, why did you ask that? You made me ask. You made me answer the most fucking like rudimentary juicehead shit. And then he asked, pretty simple. I was wondering if it was mostly. Can you put that question back up? I was wondering if GH and SLIN are actually necessary to be competitive. Well, necessary at what level? You know what I mean? Because once you get to a certain level, bro, and everybody else is on it, that's who you're competing against. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how all this shit applies. If you meet the genetic prerequisites to compete with these guys on the genetic level, and you've got the time in, so you have the muscle mass, you know, you carry enough muscle to compete with these people, well, then it's going to be the extracurriculars that are also going to be in play. And if all your fellow competitors are using insulin and human growth hormone properly, you might want to start doing it and using it properly if you want to be truly competitive, because they are. And if you try to just not do it because you think you could be better without it, well, props to you. Go ahead and try. But those drugs are really good, and they work really well. I mean, I'll just speak on, you know, using pharmaceutical grade human growth hormone for my first time. It reduced my training frequency in half. So I was previously training once every 5 days, and then I was able to train once every 3 days, while doing 2 hours of cardio every day and eating less food than I ever had in 2 years. So anyone that would ever try to tell me that, oh, human growth hormone's overrated, you know, your anabolics are better, that Ian Vieira bullshit, he's the number one guy that comes up when I think of that, because once I discovered this for myself through using the product, I was very offended that a guy of his stature and level would tell people this, you know? Like, that's fucking, it's dog shit. Like, how could you say something that stupid? You know, I'm a man of science, right? I keep all the data, I keep everything logged, so I know what it did, and I know under the circumstances of what it did. So, yeah, it's potent. Insulin. I mean, insulin turbocharges your recovery. Why? Because it rapidly replenishes depleted glycogen stores. So if you can rapidly replenish glycogen stores in a 2-hour period, that would have been, if not there, taken you 2 days to replenish. Well, you got a whole lot more time adapting, you know, and actually growing tissue. So add in human growth hormone to the training context, and you've got increased IGF-1 factors, you know, rapidly increasing. You got the insulin pushing IGF-1 up as well as replenishing glycogen stores. I mean, that's a muscle building fucking monster right there. And it doesn't matter of the context of whether you're in a bulk or in a cut. If you provide the carbohydrates around the training to let those things do their job, you're going to grow. So it's required to be competitive at the level everyone else is using it. It's that simple. You're not going to be a natural bodybuilder and compete with enhanced bodybuilders. Why? Because they ain't natural, dog. You're not going to be competitive against guys who are pushing Pharma GH and Slin because you ain't pushing Pharma GH and Slin. You get what I'm saying? There's a certain point that when guys are just taking too much drugs and has a net negative effect on their body and they're bogged down, they look like shit because of it. But, the rational mind, the rational man who puts it all together and is doing it right, he gonna whoop your ass.
What we're looking for here is the precise, the least amount of exercise required.